Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Anything Liverpool live stream with myself, Hassan, unfortunately, who's just out at the minute with technical difficulties, and then we have Ben as well with us. But we'll just start with Ben to begin with. But first of all, before we get into all of that, Ben, how are you doing? How have you found the weekend? Are you over the emotionalness of it already, or how are you feeling towards everything so far?
Calm, as can be. Um, I don't get the overreaction, to be honest. I think a lot of people have blown it out of proportion. Am I audible?
Yeah, I don't personally get the overreaction either. It's it's just I don't know. I've seen slot out calls, and I think it's the most unbelievably stupid thing that I've ever come across in my life. I think it's probably the worst call that I've seen from any part of our fan base, and just it's very childish and entitled from our fan base to act the way in the way that they are acting. But do you feel the same, or is it just? Do you think it's just online guys that are online and getting paid for clicks on Twitter, just trying to spout as much nonsense as they can in as much time as they can?
That's definitely that. You notice all the stupidest opinions come from those with verified ticks. So, yeah, it's definitely for some sort of money or whatever, or
Yeah,
engagement.
absolutely. Absolutely. The worst thing that ever happened to Twitter was making it monetized. But before we get into everything, we're waiting for Hassan to come back, obviously, as well. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos as well so that you never miss out. Um, we will be live again on Wednesday, so make sure you're around for that. We'll be live. It is a international break, so sadly no games this week to enjoy, but I guess we get to look forward to laughing at the likes of England attempt to play football, and at least I get to laugh at Ireland. So yeah. Somebody LFC mentioning here, obviously, that the slot out thing is utterly nonsensical. You would be exactly correct. Carius's hair, great name. We're 7 games in. Well, we're 10 games in, but 7 games into the Premier League, and people are saying we're in a crisis. People need to calm down. We always struggled away at Chelsea and Palace. That is true. And the other thing about it was that we were essentially the guts of about 120 seconds away from drawing both of those games, which would have had us top of the league going into this international break. We have Hassan back with us now, so that's always good. Hassan, the question that I asked Ben before you left was, how are you feeling about the team as a whole currently at the moment? Are you in panic mode? Are you in slot out mode, as is mentioned here by somebody LFC? Um, it's how what's your thought process on it? And obviously here we have one of those morons deciding to even not spell it right and not have the grammar right, so there's that. Hassan, how are you feeling at the moment in your thought process on the club at the minute? Is it time to hit the panic button, or where are we? Because we'll dive into the numbers on all of it now momentarily.
Yeah, I am usually one of the most optimistic fan out there, but the only thing a bit worrying me is from the start we were winning the games, but there was a thing that we never looked like to dominate the teams. We were scoring, but it was always a basketball match. So the worrying thing was that the performance, but as long as we were winning, it was all good. But now it seems to be catching on to us. So for me, the only thing which is bit worrying is that we seem not to get the balance right. We are still finding we have issues at the right back. We cannot. Come to a final solution who will be the number one and who will be the second one. There's problem at the right side which is affecting Salah, his game, because he does not. Sturridge mentioned it, and I agree with him that he has to always find the game to a different sort of a number nine. He adapted his game to a false nine after him. it was too typical center forward as Nunes, but it didn't work out. Then again, false nine as Luis Diaz. Now again to center forward in terms of Isaac. I think Salah's game is more suited to Ekitike, who can come back and because last game at Chelsea. The quality we can all see of Isaac, but his pressing is not like we are used to, like we used to see from Firmino and Nunes. Also, people used to criticize Nunes, but we cannot ever question his work rate. So I think for Isaac, he has to do a lot. For this team for our attack because our midfield is also not settled. I think last game Slot tried to go back to the basics, but there are two things. McAllister is not up to the form he usually is, and the second thing, I don't understand why Gravenberg is given more freedom as used last season. He was typical number six. He used to go back and cover the center backs. He was in this season. I don't know why Trevin, but it looked good in two games. In Everton game, he got the really good goal, and in Newcastle game. But the whole balance of the team, I think, is affecting because we don't have number six who is doing his job properly.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that decision as well, personally. I don't know why he has been given this greater freedom. It's just, it's a strange one. And I have to go back to this comment. Slot only had one good season because of Klopp's works. He is useless. I mean, I don't think there's words in the English language that can describe how wrong that statement is. I mean, if that's your opinion, I suppose you're entitled to be wrong about it, but that's just the way that I look at it. One good season with the same team that Klopp had and done what Klopp couldn't. Okay, not a bother. We didn't just go, 25 undefeated in a row in all competitions. We didn't, win the league a month early and decide to go off and party on the beach for the entire month of May and still hold Arsenal to a draw and only lose to Chelsea because of a last-minute penalty that Cole Palmer put away. But yeah, Slot has no, he's useless. He definitely wasn't, a couple of goal line clearances away from putting 3 past PSG or anything. No, definitely not. What a dumb opinion. Sorry. Hopefully that person doesn't take that personal. Do you know what? I hope they do. And then obviously we have this one here. Now, I don't know if they're being sarcastic or being joking. Slot is a terrible manager. No, he's not. He's not. But believe what you want. Somebody LFC here mentioning that we have until December to fix the balance and structure. I don't think we have until December, but I think you'll start to see it come together an awful lot quicker than that. Slot needs to be brave and drop players that are not performing. He already has done that. He's been dropping Salah. He dropped Wirtz. He's dropped McAllister. He's dropped Gakpo's been dropped from some games. Like, it's not as if he's not. The problem is it's a double-edged sword. Because when a player is underperforming, they usually have to play their way out of it. And the only way you can play your way out of it is playing through the slump. And then you start to see better performances come in. What a lot of people are looking at is, we're not able to, beat teams. It's like, no, we are. It's just, we're doing 90% of everything right. It's the final 10% that we're currently fucking up at the moment. But that will come as the season goes on. Somebody LFC then mentioning the team should be built around Wirtz and Isak, and they should be the focal points of our attack. Isak isn't match fit. He's not even remotely close to match fit. He can't run. He genuinely can't run. And then when you have two guys up front that don't press or can't press in Isak and Salah, you then completely have an out of sync front line, and Cody Gakpo then is left doing all the running for them, and then you have Szoboszlai doing all the running for them, and then you have a right back running up and down that byline doing all the running for them. It doesn't work. Ekitike, on the other hand, is fully match fit and is able to press. Now, you can't play Ekitike 90 minutes 3 times a week, so obviously you have to switch to Isak. There has to be some sort of give and take here. You cannot, as a forward in this Liverpool line, not press unless you are Mo Salah from last season pumping in 2 goals a game and you're on that level of form. That is the only time you are allowed not press, is when you're giving that much on the offensive side of it. Salah isn't. So he has to make up for it by defensive duties if he's not able to do that. And he hasn't been. And that has caused massive problems down our flanks. But looking into it as well, we have Omnes here mentioning, if we finished our chances, we would have won all 3 of the losses. We created more than enough results business, but we lost by 2 late goals and a penalty. Hardly a crisis. It's not a crisis. That penalty shouldn't have been a penalty. If we held on for another 120 more seconds across both the Chelsea and the Palace games, we draw both of those games. We had opportunities to win both of those games. That flick from Florian Wirtz to Mo Salah, why he decided, of all of the moments that he has had, to then use his right foot when we cry out for it every other time he has it, when his left foot would have been better in that situation, will always bother me. But it is what it is. We'll have a look at the numbers now in a moment, but taking a look at a couple of those comments, Ben, are you in agreement with many of them? Like, obviously, we've created enough to win these games. It's just, it's the 90% of the hard stuff is being done. It's the final sort of last phase of our play that's missing a synchronicity at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. There's no clinical edge whatsoever. It's like this, the entire attack doesn't like each other or something. They don't pass to each other. They don't want to press for each other. They don't want to do anything really. Just want to be for themselves, I think. That's why I say Guehi should start. I think he is willing to do that.
Why I think Ekitike is a very similar situation where and it's not that I don't think Isak isn't willing to do it. It's that I don't think he's match fit enough to be able to do it. He had no preseason, no training camp, no competitive football for the guts of 5 months. And then asking him to step into a squad that would require him to run and cover the running of Salah. This is what I said, Hassan, you will remember this, because this is what I said for all of last season, that if you get Isak, that means you can't have Salah in the same lineup, because they both don't press and they both don't run. They both cheat and they get the 10 other players on the 10 other players to press for them. Did I or did I not say that?
Yeah, you said about Isak also that his game is not with our system, like last season. Isak's game is not for us, but for all these things, we thought that because of Wirtz coming in, there will be a change in the system. But the only thing which is concerning to me, that new system is not is there to be seen.
Yeah, I think the new system is there, because if you watch Wirtz and if you go back and watch all of the previous games and watch Florian Wirtz, you'll see what we're trying to do. So where he's operating is very much in the middle and final third. So if you look at, there's been so many instances where it's just been a very quick ping, 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 and then he gets the ball 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden it's a break. The pass to Isak is an example where it was very quick. I don't know if it was Galatasaray or I don't know if it was Chelsea or Palace, but it was one of the last 3 games. He came back into our own half, received the ball, quick 1-2 with another midfielder, and then this Isak starts to make a run, and as he's receiving the 1-2 back to himself, just a one touch over the top lofted pass. That's what Wirtz is going to do to unlock teams. Those quick, intricate passes, and that's where you'll start to see him. Like, if not for Salah hitting the post, Isak missing a couple of chances, and himself missing a couple of chances for Wirtz. Wirtz could be on about 10 goal contributions this season so far. It's literally that fine of a margin. Brother Books here mentioning, pretty sure PSG went through a similar transitionary period in 2024, and look at them now. Exactly the comparison that I make. During the first half of last season, PSG were very much a dysfunctional side. The only thing is that they were in a league that allowed them to be that transitional side and not really drop points. But they still did drop points against teams that would struggle to finish outside the relegation zone in the Premier League. And on top of that, they struggled massively in the Champions League. So, and then all of a sudden they hit, everybody was like, oh, we got PSG, it's fine. And then they hit form, and then we were like, oh shit, we got PSG. Same thing will happen to us. But we're going to take a look at the numbers now, as I mentioned. So I have some of the stats that are here, and we're going to open them all up. We'll take a look at them now on my Data MB Pro. So this is purely just looking at possession and passes per possession. Essentially, if you're up here, you're a very ball dominant. If you're in the top right quadrant up here, you're a very ball dominant team. If you're in the bottom left quadrant here, you park the bus like no man's business. As you can see, Burnley, Brentford, Palace, the teams you would expect, Everton, Leeds, West Ham, Wolves, a lot of teams down here that park the bus. And then you can obviously see the general suspects up here. You have Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. No team averages more possession than us in the Premier League at the moment. When you look at these numbers, we are dominating teams on the ball. It's just that we're not really doing anything with it. And then if you take a look at the XG per 90, and then if we scroll back up and look at the, where are we looking? I'm going to take a look at shots on target per 90. So XG per 90 and shots on target per 90. So if you're up here, you're in a good spot. If you're down here, so if you're up here, you're taking a lot of shots and you're getting a lot of high quality shots. If you're down here, you're getting high quality shots, but not taking that many of them. The only team that averages less shots than us per game, or shots on target than us per game, is Arsenal, and they average an awful lot more XG than us. Again, similar situation. We're just being slightly inefficient at the moment, where we could get a couple of more shots on target. All of a sudden, you'll start to see us move up here. But I'm going to throw the question over to you guys initially. Hassan, just to look at some of the numbers here, I'll see if I can pull up this as well. Just Palace was the last team that we faced, and you know what? I'll put in Chelsea here as well for the sake of it, so that we can take a look at it. So this is where these teams rank in percentiles. Chelsea are an awful lot better than on paper anyway than what they look at the eye test. But Palace obviously are a sit back, don't defend, just defend for their lives. We've played some seriously stout defenses through the first 10 games. We've had Newcastle, we've had Arsenal, we've had we've had Newcastle, Arsenal, we've had Palace, we've had Everton, we've had Burnley. And you might say Burnley aren't that stout of a defense when they're conceding so many goals. They put 11 men in the box. We then played Everton, as I mentioned. We played Atletico Madrid, that are horrible to play against. And then I don't think we went through what we called it, the football terrorist gauntlet. But given the context of who we've played, Hassan, if you apply that context to our performances, does it give you an awful lot more confidence in how we will improve going forward when some opposition gets easier?
Yeah, hopefully. I think it will take a run of games. Hopefully, this nonsense international breaks go away, because usually our team gets better with the number of games. It's so bad that after this, before the international break, we had these horrible run of games, and we lost all three of them. So hopefully, as you mentioned, this is the one positive thing that, and we faced most of them away from our home. Newcastle was away. Uh, yeah, Crystal Palace was away. So I think away fixtures are, Chelsea was away also. So I think it's good that these difficult away games are out of the way. So and I think the perfect match is after international break, United at home. There's no other game which can give the massive boost that we require. We need, if the chances Wirtz is making, if someone is finishing them, I think it will be a massive confidence boost for Wirtz as well, and team in general. Uh, I really hope the player like Chiesa is given more chances. Who looks the most dangerous, who looks like finishing chances. So I think Slot does not fancy him because I think he does not think he's a sort of a player which he needs. But uh, goals wins the matches, and he is scoring. So I think he should be given those chances till
Yeah.
Isak hits his form.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. The only other issue is it's a funny one because as you see, somebody LFC mentions here. This is how teams will play against us this season in a low block. It's why we've signed these high quality players to break these teams. It's just Slot hasn't found the balance yet. You will be exactly correct. Now, in saying that, facing these low block teams, what the stat that I actually showed you previously, it was a mistake. It says goals conceded per it was shots on target against per 90. So the only team that averages less shots on target against, and what I mean by that is the amount of shots on target that their opposition gets, is Arsenal. And that's because they play with 3 CDMs and 4 centre backs. We don't. So, Ben, the question I have for you in relation to this regarding is it time to like hit the panic button or not? Do you think the system is at fault for our defensive frailties in how many goals we've conceded? Because if you can see there, we're conceding more than 1 goal per 90 this season. That's not really exactly a positive in comparison to how many shots on target we're conceding. We're essentially conceding through silly mistakes. Now, do you think that's a product of the system, or do you think that's a product of individual errors and can be ironed out with time? Or is it just this is how we're going to be for the season?
I think it's both personally. Like we were talking about Gravenberch constantly getting more freedom. Last season, Gravenberch didn't have that freedom, which is why we were solid, because we always had that extra man back. Kanate not being at it, he's conceding us a lot of chances as well, giving the ball away. As you saw in the Galatasaray game, he gave Osman at least 3 chances. And just having no ability to build up from the back properly is costing us stupid mistakes, which lead to shots on target, which could be avoided with the proper personnel. But the system can't be untalked about in this situation because, well, like you said, Gravenberch shouldn't be getting that far forward. He's not an offensive player. We need.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a bit different in that I think he's very much a box to box guy that you can have back and you can have forward. But the problem is if you send him forward, in my opinion, and you can agree with me or not on this, let me know. But if you send him forward, you don't get the same aggregate benefit as keeping him back. He's for the team. He's better staying back than he is going forward. There's no point in letting Gravenberch go forward if you sign somebody like Florian Wirtz. Let him do that job.
McAllister's not helping either. I think McAllister's, because he's not fit either, so he's the only player that can play the passes, but he's trying to occupy the same spaces as Wirtz, which isn't helping either of them. But McAllister, he's offensive-minded, but he can't play the passes to Wirtz, and he's the only player in our squad that can when he's on it.
Yeah, his biggest strength last season was his dueling ability, and it's now his biggest weakness this season. Case in point, the Caicedo goal. Last season, McAllister doesn't lose that ball. And then people had the audacity then to turn around and blame both Konate and Virgil van Dijk for standing off him. And you're kind of like, well, they had to, because they're giving him the low percentage chance, which he unfortunately made. But if either of them 2 centre-backs stepped up to meet Caicedo, there's a through ball on either side that gives a one-on-one to the keeper and a much higher percentage chance. They were playing the averages, and unfortunately they lost. More times than not, they will win that, though, and that goal won't go in. It just seems to be... And people laughed at me for saying about XG earlier on in the season, but the issue is that it goes both ways. While we were overperforming it at the start, we were keeping teams under 1 XG. the multiple times that we have lost games, we have let somebody get and generate more than 1 XG. That has been Palace, that has been Chelsea, and that has been Galatasaray. The only other time we did it was against Bournemouth, where they got 2 goals against us, but we've got 4. Every other game this season, Arsenal, Newcastle, Atletico Madrid, Everton, Burnley, Southampton, every 7 of our first 10 games, we have not allowed more than 1 XG, which is where we need to be defensively going forward. So we're not allowing those big chances. Hassan, looking at these numbers here again, I'll ask the same question of you as I did to Ben. Is it the system, or is it personal errors, or are you like Ben and you think it's both?
Yeah, I agree with Ben. It's both, because new players are coming in. The champions from last seasons are not up to the form. Last match, Virgil, last season, he was terrific. Uh, in this, I think you guys must have seen in Chelsea match, whenever he had the ball, Virgil is very assured always. He knows where to play. He was in this match, he was asking players to come back, receive the ball, because last season it was so easy. It was or Konate will pass to Ryan, and he will bypass the players, or he will play a pass sideways or somewhere. Now Virgil is looking where to go, and I have mentioned the right side. There's a problem on the left side also. Kirk is he's new here. Last game, as soon as Robo came in, we were better because he had the understanding with Gapco. He knows how to be play. Kirk is, I think, Gapco, when he needs him to overlap, he stays behind. When he needs him to stay there, he's overlapping. I think there's understanding problem with them. Also, our left side, there are issues. So I think the players have not gelled up together as much. There are, because all those games we have won are due to individual brilliances. I don't remember any goal we have scored was a perfect build up, and we done something to the other team that they were not able to do anything. It was more like in last game in Chelsea, as I said that with Robo we looked really good, but I think Robo felt something. That's why he was not able to uh, track back. I think when the cross was being played, he was already on his knees. He had some problem, and as soon as the ball was played, he was hoping it was offside, but it was not, and he finished it. So I think now Robo looks injured. We will have to rely on Kirkis. So I think there needs to be understanding. Uh, Hopefully they play together and develop that. Uh, with Weirds, I think the best position is also a left-sided midfield, coming into inside. I think if we go, our midfield should be Ryan at the center, Weirds at the left, and Sobo at the right. Up till now, these players, I think, will make up the best team.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, that's no panic, it seems to be from our guys, so that's all good. Before we move on to the next topic, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out as well. Okay, now, one of the comments that I've seen here, we might as well move on to this, is the next topic here. Amna is here mentioning about Gravenberch. Can become a wonderful box-to-box player like Gerrard, but for now we need him to hold until we sign a specialist DM in the Zubamendi or even the Wharton style. Adam Wharton is not a specialist DM. Adam Wharton is not a DM. Adam Wharton is an 8. He's not a DM, and I can prove it to you. Would you say Alexi McAllister is a defensive midfielder, or is he more of an 8, Ben and Hassan?
8.
8.
Yeah, I'm going to show you now. So, it has been reported by Simon Jones of the Daily Mail that Liverpool are holding an interest in Adam Wharton. There has been rumours otherwise of scouts going to watch Crystal Palace games. No concrete proof of that. No real source has said that. But all the in the knows on Twitter do love to get their clicks in. It's international break. They need a big story, and obviously they run with it to get their rent paid. But is Wharton a CDM? No, he is not. He plays in a Crystal Palace system that parks the bus, and he doesn't really do an awful lot with his passing on the ball, albeit he does progress it quite well. But his passes are being progressive because of the system and style that Palace play. He is not asked to defend space. He has 3 centre backs behind him and plays in a midfield 4. He is unbelievably protected in that Palace system. I feel if he moved to a Liverpool system to play in the double pivot that we would have, he would be playing a much more advanced position, and he would have to cover an awful lot more space and cover counter-attacks an awful lot more. We are one of the biggest counter-attacking teams. We also get caught in the counter quite a lot, especially by teams that like to park the bus. So I think he would be utterly exposed if he came to us. Genuinely. I think you probably have a better solution in-house already, but we'll get on to that. So let's take a look at the numbers on this, because this I found very interesting when I was researching it earlier. When you take a look at the numbers, and hopefully now it's sharing for me. So when you take a look at the numbers, yeah, so as Omnes mentions here, he plays deeper. He's more of a progressive passer than a stopper. He would allow Szoboszlai and Grab to press and move back and forth. Yeah, but you can't leave him back there, is my point. That's the issue. And Zubimendi isn't really a DM either, but you can't leave Adam Wharton back there. You would need to leave Ryan Gravenberch back there and let Adam Wharton advance a little bit further. And that then completely leaves him exposed because of the amount of space that he'd have to. It's just not possible. Now, I'm going to show you a comparison. That looks an awful lot like Alexi McAllister to me, who's an 8. Now let's take a look at Gravenberch. That doesn't look like a Ryan Gravenberch, who's an actual 6 to me. It would look like if we were to sign Adam Wharton, it would be depth for the Alexi McAllister position and not the actual position that people think he will play, which is the 6. I don't think he is a 6. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing that for a moment, and I'm going to get your thoughts on the topic itself, Ben. Do you like Adam Wharton as a player? I personally don't, but I'm more than open to having somebody convince me that he would do well for us. I think the price that Palace will ask for will be monumental if they don't get a release clause put into it. But how do you feel about the news itself? Do you feel that we need another midfielder, or is this something that can be helped with a tweak in the system or a tweak in the formation, or maybe just to fit Alexi McAllister?
I think the solution is Szoboszlai in the less centre mid role. I've been doing some research on that, and all our best performances have come with him in the less centre mid next to Gravenberch this season, i.e. Atletico Madrid, when we started very well and we dominated that first half. The midfield was Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and Wirtz. I think he's the answer to the less centre mid problem for now. And, well, you'll probably mention in a bit, Stefan Bajcetic. He's someone who I wouldn't mind seeing there. Yeah. Wouldn't mind seeing him at centre back or right back, because I think he can play those roles. He's good with the ball. He's good defensively. Yeah.
That's who I would have assumed as well, is Stefan Bajcetic as the in-house solution. Hassan, with regards to Adam Wharton and the rumor in itself coming from Simon Jones, who's fairly reliable for the Daily Mail, how do you feel about it? Do you feel that he would be the right choice, or do you feel maybe he's a bit overhyped and he might be a bit of a product of the system of Crystal Palace? Because as you've seen from the numbers there, Palace average about 40% possession and we're up over 60. That's a drastic difference in play style, and we've seen it already with Forest this season, that if you move players from one end of the spectrum to the other in regards to their play style, they really struggle. Now, somebody that I would love is Elliot Anderson, but we'll touch on him in a moment. We're talking about Adam Wharton currently at the moment. Hassan, with Wharton, how do you feel about him in general?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you that he's perfect for a team like Palace. I think if they have Curtis Jones at Crystal Palace, he would look like a really good player also. So I think at that system, he looks. And as you mentioned, that if we go for him, the price would be a monumental, and for him to come for a jump like from Crystal Palace to Liverpool will be a really big jump. He's not a bad player. But he's not. I kind of see where ominous is coming from, because we were linked with Zubimendi when we were crying out for a typical center midfielder, CDM, center defensive midfielder. But I think Slot does not prefer typical CDM. He preferred player like Zubimendi who can play passes. I think the best mix for me for when we had Fabinho, because I think player like him gave freedom to all other players to do their thing. I really agree with you and Ben on Batch's, because he looked like a really good player. He has played as a uh, seed, center back as well. So as a CDM, he has played at 8 also. But I think he looks like a tenacious player uh, who is not afraid to go in tackles and play those passes. Because McConnell going to Ajax, I think shows that Batch will be given chances, but hopefully he's not brought in before he is fully fit. We have seen what City are trying to do with Rodri, who I at this point have bit of sympathy for him, because he's not fit and they are trying to fit him, and trying to. We have seen Arsenal doing it as well to Saka and Odegaard as well. So I don't think for a long term it's good for us to, but we have to find solutions. We have to see the best balance team before, because after December, till December, you have to make a good platform. But if there's no platform for the run-in, there's no uh, uh, thing to go forward. So I think we have to find out solutions rather quickly.
Yeah, just want to touch on this point here for Omnes regarding this. When we talk about system specialists, Guehi plays on the left of a back three at Palace. His role in a two is much more open. The much more open team at LFC is not doubted. It is doubted, but he has shown that he has the pace to be able to do it. And if you watch Guehi, he defends space quite well. Guehi is the reason, one of the reasons, along with the likes of their other two centre backs, that they defend the space that Adam Wharton doesn't and the midfielders don't. And a back three is so much more defensively solid than a back four. And the reason behind that is because your fullbacks end up going forward. And Grav was not a six until the Zubimendi deal fell off. Grav was always going to be a six because that's what we signed him for, and Klopp tried to use him as an 8. He was a 6 at Ajax, and they tried to use him as an 8 or a 10 at Bayern Munich. And then he moved to us and became an 8, and you could see him there. And I said it from the beginning as well regarding him that he should be a 6 because he was a 6 at Ajax. He could be a 6 with us as well. And lo and behold, became one of the best in the world last season. Goes on to say then players can adapt when surrounded by world-class players and a world-class coaching team, which Slot is and has. Yes, they can adapt. But again, look at Nottingham Forest. That is the prime example of going from one extreme to the other. You're asking a player that is usually sat in midfield 4 and is protected by a back 3 to now cover mountains of space, which they won't be able to do. Not that they won't be able to do, they may be able to do it, but are you going to? Do you think Liverpool are willing to put that £100 million bet on a maybe? There's not a chance. There's not a chance in hell that happens. Just going to show you what I mean by that, because I'm going to share this data here now, and you guys will see what I mean. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball, and this is possession adjusted for your interceptions, you can see Adam Wharton is sat down here in the bad quadrant, shall we call it. And then you have Ryan Gravenberch up here with Alexi McAllister over here. And then you have your big CDMs here, such as Moises Caicedo. You have the likes of Granit Xhaka. You have the likes of Tyler Adams. And then Manuel Ugarte up here. You have João Gomez there. You have Andre with Wolves as well. It's you want if you want your. The problem is that you're going to need. Adam Wharton does not defend space, and this has been the issue that I've had with him consistently the whole way through. And I feel that he's massively overhyped as a player. It's just one of them things. But when you take a look at Stefan Bajcetic, and I'm going to share this tab now instead. So take off this. So here's your Adam Wharton, right? If you're the person that wants to give Gravenberch more freedom, cool, not a problem. Absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. But if you're the person that wants to give Ryan Gravenberch more freedom, and what I do is I might as well just bang this over to Ryan Gravenberch, and then we'll swap. So this is Ryan Gravenberch over the last year, essentially. Once this loads up for me now. Oh, it'd help if it done it a bit quicker. But you can see it here on the left anyway. Ryan Gravenberch, he's been a brilliant passer, brilliant progressor with his carrying, a decent progressive passer. Very good, very, very accurate with his passing. His defensive duties are very good as well. If you possession adjusted them, they would fly right up, because if Liverpool average 60% possession, well then in this instance, so you can see there, Adam Wharton's there. So if you want Ryan Gravenberch to go forward, well then you don't get somebody like Adam Wharton to come in and replace him, because the defensive side of it is just not there. Now, who you do get, there you go, there's your balance immediately. And that's Stefan Bajcetic. Immediately balances the two. Or, as Ben correctly pointed out, Szoboszlai. There's an immediate balance there. They both help each other in this instance, but if you want to give Gravenberch the license to go forward, you need to put in somebody like a Stefan Bajcetic that's just an unbelievable ball winner and is able to recycle possession. That's more or less how I see it. But I'm sure other people will see it differently than that itself. But Ben, to go back to your point about somebody like Stefan Bajcetic or Dominic Szoboszlai in there, do you think, I suppose I'll just throw it back to the Adam Wharton question is, do you think Adam Wharton is worth it? And do you think Palace will, what do you think Palace will ask for in terms of a price?
80 million. Which, yeah.
80?
If he doesn't,
I think
if he doesn't extend his contract, I think it'll be around the 80 to 75 million mark, which I'm not a fan of. Not when we've got Stefan. Not when we've got tours at home.
Yeah, I think it will be near that 80 million mark as well. Myself personally, it's an English player in the Premier League who's young and is in an up and coming team that's playing well currently at the moment, and also is a prem to prem transfer. Hassan, how much do you think Wharton's price will be? Because we have obviously Carter in our chat that says that he'll only be about 60 million, which I think he's fucking dreaming if he thinks it's going to be 60 million, 65 million. There's not a chance it's anywhere near that. I think you'd need to add another 20 million onto it and be about 80, 85 million. Where's your head at on that, and where do you think the price lands?
Yeah, I think with Palace and English a player who's in England setup as well, I think the price, as someone mentioned, at 100 million. I think if he's to sign a contract extension, he will put in a release clause, which I think him and his agent and Crystal Palace will think that other Premier League clubs will be able to give them. So it will be not 100. It will not be 50. It will be in the middle, 70, 75 or 8.
Yeah.
So I think it will be a contract extension will be signed on those terms. So I think that is where and Simon Jones does not only mentions, as he said, to City and Chelsea in that same sentence as well. So I think with Chelsea, for them it is a really good opportunity, as their strategy is looking that a young English player. They did it some sort of with Dewsbury Hall as well, that if he does not work out, he can be moved along to in another team. So I think it's a model player model for Chelsea. And City, I don't know, they have lost their identity. They are signing all over the place, so they can also come.
I don't think Pep stays. So I think their whole strategy will change in about 12 months. I don't think Pep stays.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
I just think he's done. I think the second Klopp left the Premier League and sort of pseudo retired, Prem just didn't have his Batman and Joker thing anymore, where he just didn't have his
Yeah.
arch nemesis, and it just kind of sucked the fun out of it.
Nobody to complete him.
Omna's here mentioning exactly. Omna's here mentioning about Bajcetic. I like him a lot, but the fitness worries cannot be ignored. Adam Wharton has a lot of fitness worries as well at a young age. So again, are you willing to put that much of a premium price on a guy with that much injury issues? I wasn't happy about the price for Alexander Isak either, but que sera. But we're going to move on to the final topic of the day, which is our centre backs. And before we do that, make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. We'll be back live again from We'll be back live again from 7 p.m. on Wednesday, so make sure you have your notifications on for that. If you're currently watching on Twitter or X at the moment, make sure to jump down into the comments below, and you will see a link straight to our YouTube channel. We are also live on Facebook currently at the moment, so make sure that you can jump over to our YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe, turn your notifications on. We'd very much appreciate it. But the final topic is that David Ornstein of The Athletic has stated that it's unlikely Liverpool are going to go back in for a centre-back in January. But he did say that could change. So he's obviously covering his own arse in that sense by saying it could change, as any good journalist does. They never give an absolute. They always leave a door open. Ben, does that decision worry you, considering we have Konate, who's out of form, Virgil van Dijk, who's getting older and won't remain Superman forever, and Joe Gomez, a walking hospital bill, is the only senior centre-backs on the team?
Yeah, it's definitely a concern. I would like us to retest Palace for Guehi, but can understand why they won't want to sell if they get found, because they're the Conference League favourites, I'd say. And it's just impossible to sign in January, really, as it is. And adding the fact that we could be desperate, you could see us paying 20-30 million extra for players that wouldn't cost that extra 20-30 million in the summer if you just waited out.
I agree with you on that, and there was rumours as well a while back, not really reliable ones, but no smoke without fire, that Palace are going to be looking for about 30 million in January to get rid of, or to let go of Guehi. And I'm like, you're fucking lunatics if you think that's a price that somebody will pay. Nobody will pay that. There's not a chance of it. And Liverpool won't either. We're not a team to be bent over a barrel by another club with a clause or anything like that. Not similar to United, should I say, who love to get bent over a barrel over a price. But Hassan, as I said, we have Virgil van Dijk that can't remain Superman forever. We have Konate that's not really firing on all cylinders, and we have a walking hospital bill in Joe Gomez. The only other players that would play centre back will be Curtis Jones, Ryan Gravenberch, or Taro Endo, and maybe one or two of the young guys that might come up, such as Nalo, if you wanted to get him, or if we sent him on loan, I can't remember. So how are you feeling? It's probably the best question to ask about that. Do you feel like we do need to go in for a centre back? Because personally speaking, from my side of it, I feel like we do, and I think we need to absolutely boot Joe Gomez out the door. The sooner the better, because that man just cannot stay fit at all. But tell me your thoughts on it. Do you think David Ornstein is just saying stuff for the sake of saying stuff? It's an international break, and they're like, no, they've told me they're not going to go in, but that could change. Or do you think the reintegration of somebody like Stefan Bajcetic will help alleviate that at the centre-back spot? Because realistically now, who plays in a cup game when it's just Joe Gomez? Are we going to put Robbo in there as the left-sided centre back, or what's going to be the situation? You're on mute, Hassan.
Bring in Rhys Williams.
No, still can't hear you, Hassan. No, he's on. He's completely frozen now. Oh, well, we've lost Hassan. But I suppose I'll throw the question to you, Ben, in that regard. Is do you feel like the reintegration of somebody like a Stefan Bajcetic helps that? Oh, no, wait. Hassan is back. Is he back? Let's see if we can get him added. Are you there? Can you hear us? Can you speak so we can hear you? No, can't hear a thing, Hassan. Ben, I'll throw the question to you regardless. Do you feel the reintegration of the likes of Stefan Bajcetic in the next couple of weeks? He's been playing with the under-21s and he's been training with the first team for a while now. Do you feel that alleviates the problem, or do you think David Ornstein is maybe not so much getting this wrong, but possibly is reporting on old news that he hasn't been updated on yet, and we probably will go for a centre-back? It just probably won't be Mark Guehi.
I think Bajcetic can be used as centre-back. I think he will. Mm. He played there for Las Palmas last season when he was available, and he was good there from what I was told. So yeah, I think he'll be used multiple positions, including centre-back.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think he will be as well. It'll be interesting to see how it develops over the season, but I do think he will end up playing multiple positions for us, possibly the 6, possibly an 8, possibly a centre-back. He's a very versatile player, and as long as he remains fit, I think he'll carve out a place in this squad. But we are going to leave it there, guys, for this evening. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Ben and Hassan for joining me as well. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure your notifications are on so you never miss out on a stream or video. Make sure to jump down into the comments on any of the X streams or Twitter streams that we do, and you'll see a link straight to our YouTube page. If you're watching on Facebook currently, please do jump over to our YouTube page. Where you can you can subscribe, you can leave a comment, you can get involved in the conversation. We very much do enjoy going back and forth on the comments, but make sure you do like and subscribe, and you have your notifications on so that you don't miss out. And we will enjoy the rest of this international break and a break from Premier League football before we come back in 2 weekends' time, fortnight's time, to play Man United. But for myself, Ben, and Hassan, I want to thank you for joining.